I think iOS 14.5 is my favorite iOS update we've gotten in a while because the feature we talked about months ago has finally been rolled out to the public. You beta people have had it for a while, we know, but we don't want to put up with all the risks of putting betas on our main devices and especially our Apple Watches because that's happened to brick in the past. But now it's out to the public. If you're on the latest version of iOS and your Apple Watch is up to date, you can now finally unlock your iPhone via the Apple Watch. So yeah, between all of the features of iOS 14, bringing home screen widgets, honestly, you can probably tell I don't utilize them very much, and picture-in-picture now on iOS, YouTube still doesn't support it, and you have to go through all these weird workarounds to take advantage of it. Overall, iOS 14 has not been a major difference from my day-to-day life, but now, iOS 14.5 has become a major one, because I still go into lots of circumstances where I'm putting on a mask, not even necessarily because the pandemic, I just am self-conscious about my beard. It's not growing in correctly, and I don't like that. And also being able to make faces at people in public without them knowing, I find personally quite fun. And now the fact that I can continue to use my iPhone regularly as I am now wearing an Apple Watch, which already unlocks my Mac, which is, in my opinion, one of the coolest parts of this whole Apple ecosystem, is that it's not just an isolated instance. For one, we have a very solid biometric with Face ID. When you're not wearing a mask, I prefer it to Touch ID every day of the week. Works in the dark great, works when my hands are wet, and it feels almost like there's no biometric at all because you essentially just pick up your phone and start using it and it unlocks. Some people prefer Touch ID, that's fine, you can have your wrong opinion. And personally, I love Face ID, but the pandemic honestly just kind of killed a lot of the functionality of it, and honestly I wish Apple would have rolled out this update sooner because it is so cool to hear the animation and also get the little haptic feedback every time the phone is able to detect that you're wearing a mask. And it's not a big compromise in security because you still have this option on the watch that says lock iPhone after that event takes place. So for one, the watch makes a noise. So if your Apple Watch isn't on silent, you hear this very audible clicking sound of whenever the Apple Watch is being used instead of Face ID. You get this animation on the Apple Watch that's letting you know the iPhone has been unlocked, and then once you hit that lock button again, the iPhone will go back to the lock position. And actually, in my experience, I'm not sure if this is a bug or if this is the way it intentionally is supposed to work, the Apple Watch unlocking the iPhone thing will not work anymore, or at least for a few minutes after I do the whole lock iPhone thing. So I'm wondering if that's because they're assuming that if you're pressing the lock iPhone button, that means that someone else has gotten hold of the iPhone and therefore the Apple Watch unlock method won't work again. But to me, this is a great new added level of security because it means that even if someone else is trying to unlock your iPhone, they can't. It doesn't work with Apple Pay, but that's fine because if you have an unlocked Apple Watch, that means you can put Apple Pay on the watch anyway. In my opinion, I would much rather use the watch than the phone because that's just on my wrist. I don't have to pull anything out of my pocket. And I haven't been to the airport for a while, but I'm actually going to be helping my parents move later this year, and we're going to have to go to an airport to fly back home from that trip. So knowing that I'm going to be wearing a mask throughout that whole journey, but I'll still be able to unlock my phone pretty easily without having to type in the passcode every time, saves me a huge amount of stress, and it honestly gives me hope that the Apple Watch can one day become the key to the Apple ecosystem that I want so badly, because to me, it makes very little sense that we're willing to have the same level of security and have the same requirements to unlock your device, whether or not you're all by yourself at home or you're in public surrounded by strangers. To me, it's kind of the equivalent of living by yourself and locking the bathroom or bedroom door. Some of you may do that, that's fine. I'm not saying that everybody should be forced to not have a passcode or not have a biometric when your iPhone is known to be in a certain location at a certain time. I'm just suggesting options. If you want to keep security the way it is currently, that's great. I'm not saying get rid of that. I'm just saying provide the option, Apple, for people to bypass some of these security measures when they're by themselves. They live in a house that they feel protected in, or they live with people that they're not worried about. My wife is the alternate Face ID registration on this phone. She can unlock it, she can see everything. So to me, it feels kind of pointless to be at home and lock the phone at this same level that you're gonna lock the phone at in public. And also, if we're gonna let the Apple Watch unlock MacBooks and iMacs, which have personal information on them, but as long as the Apple Watch is unlocked on your wrist and very close to the device, it's willing to unlock it, then bring that to the iPad. I don't care about your whole lock screen notification management and that kind of stuff. Mac OS has that too. So if you're willing to unlock Macs, and now you're saying you're willing to unlock iPhones, go ahead, bring it to the iPad as well, because I know it has a great biometric on it, but if I didn't have to worry about covering the Face ID sensors with my hand, or opening the iPad at kind of a weird angle, or someone else opening the iPad, but I still want them to have access to it, just let it unlock if it knows that the Apple Watch is attached, right? Like, this whole spatial awareness thing I feel like is being underutilized, and simply because it's so satisfying to have the iPhone get unlocked from the Apple Watch, getting that little haptic feedback and the sound effect, and it feels so much more satisfying than just the simple Face ID unlock. It makes me want to wear my mask more, even at home, even when I'm safe, even now when I'm not doing anything, just because I got this new iOS 14.5 update. I'm basically just keeping the mask on at all times so I can hear the Apple Watch make that satisfying sound effect. And I'm also like extra super duper safe because we're not even going outside very much at our place, but I'm still protected, you know? You don't know what's in this air. I mean, we haven't gone outside in several weeks, but I don't know what's up there. So I'm very happy Apple finally rolled this update out. I just wish they would have thought of it sooner, and I hope they continue to bring this functionality to more of the ecosystem, because I'm in love with it, and I think the Apple Watch is a great and secure way to enter the ecosystem, especially if you know that you can unlock the Apple Watch itself via using Face ID on your iPhone. So if you wake up in the morning and you're like me, you put your watch on, and then you unlock your phone, and now with 14.5 you even get a little animation that says Apple Watch unlocked, and you have all this security throughout the ecosystem that you don't even really notice. It's so seamless, it's so integrated, and I'm very happy with it, and it's one of those days that I'm very thankful to be an Apple sheep. And it also makes me not really care about Touch ID coming back. I feel like with this update, most people just should buy an Apple Watch SE. If you don't have an Apple Watch yet, you know what, just get one. I'm not even gonna say if you want one anymore. Just get one. I think you'll like it. If you're tired with the whole Face ID mask thing, I think the Apple Watch is the key to your problem. It's not Touch ID. Anywho, this is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you guys in the next one.